Hey guys, it is Orion Webster here. So this is not a podcast episode. Today what I've decided to do is try something a little bit different. And I haven't really talked about this yet on the actual podcast. I may have, so perhaps a few of you will know this, but going back way before, and of course I've just recently started my career in audio, I've been sort of a writer, not professionally, but I've done a lot of writing. I think at least uh, personally, a personal comparison. So I guess past versions of myself, I've gotten reasonably good at it. But what I thought I would do here, and I'm not actually going to read the piece that I've written here verbatim or anything like that, but what I've decided to do or to try is to express some of the ideas here because I think they're important, and I think that especially for people who don't like reading or who want to be able to use these audio formats to enable them to do secondary or to enable them to do other things while they're listening to it, I would give you a quick sort of audio bite that you could listen to because I think this is important. Anyway, the what I've titled this piece, I think will kind of say it all, and that is the importance of a holistic perspective of success. So I'll just kind of be glancing down at this as I try to think about how to express this. Um, One thing that I think a lot about is the difference between, me and, maybe someone who's kind of new at examining their life and then somebody who is sort of somebody that I would look up to or someone that I would use as a mentor. And one thing that really stands out to me, I would say, is it's never been entirely clear to me, or the question that I would ask is the difference between me and someone just like Peter Diamandis or something, for example? Is it discipline? Is it willpower? Is it systems that he uses? And I think that's probably part of it. Is it energy? Is it passion? So part of, I think, where people who are new at this are obviously just ignorant by virtue of being new at it is the importance of having a holistic perspective on this. And the reason I say that, or why I use that word, is because I think many of us have this sort of through the straw kind of view of success, which is that it's only about money, or it's only about power and connection, or about status. And I think that's completely untrue. In the sense that if we define success, and you may not define success this way, but at least with the way I define success worth having is as somebody who is consistently effective over a significant period of time, who is happy. And when I say consistently effective, I don't just mean at your job or in one specific domain, but I don't necessarily mean that you're necessarily effective at absolutely everything in life either, but just that you try to approach everything in your life that's meaningful as wisely as possible. And I think that's really important. So the idea here, and the reason I think this is important, is because I think people who are aspiring to be successful, who have these sort of audacious goals, I think that's good. I think that's great. Having the passion and the interest is sort of fundamentally the first step. But I think the next step is to be able to bring your thoughts to reality and figure out how you're actually going to make your goals manifest themselves in your life. And I wouldn't say it's by thinking smaller. That's not what I'm here to offer. As you may be able to guess based on the title of the piece that I just offered a moment ago, it's really to call attention to all of the other factors and the nuance that is here that I think deserves a lot of attention that it sort of doesn't get in relation to being successful. And what I would say is just as a number of examples, or I guess to bring the point home, when we think about that person that comes to mind when we think of the word successful, I think what's important is that we don't imagine somebody who's simply, using discipline and just because they're a crazy person works 16 hours a day and um, just hits nothing but home runs, and is just this rich person, let's say, or just this person is just constantly effective. They're just an absolute machine for collecting, pieces of green paper. I think that's really the wrong way to think about success. And I've already kind of talked about it here, but I think what we should appreciate is that, number one, being successful and being unhappy is a different beast, and it's probably harder, in my opinion, than being successful and being happy. But those are two very different beasts, right? I'm sure there's someone out there, and I'm sure that there are examples that you can think of people who, by virtue of discipline and hard work, achieve their goals. And they might not sleep well, and they might not necessarily be satisfied or happy, but they are, they have status and they have resources now, and that's great, but they lack the other piece, which I think is especially important. And I think it's frankly more important. And I think that's quality of life. And I think, as we all know, the things that contribute to quality of life are actually numerous. And I would say the things that contribute to quality of life are different for each of us. And I think what becomes important is that we have a certain attention to and a knowledge of self that many of us don't have and that many of us don't seek to work on. I think that's a mistake. I think this sort of notion, and I wouldn't say it's something that we intentionally do. I think it's sort of an accident. I think it's by virtue of ignorance that we're constantly living in our bodies in a way where we are judging everything outside of ourselves without performing introspection. And we're going, ooh, look, this person's collected a lot of shiny things, and they're a celebrity and all this, and they have all these different connections, and they have a private jet. And we look at the shiny things, and we don't think about the person behind that success, behind that persona of success. And we don't think about the breakfast and the sleep and the reading and not just the effort, but the systems and the strategies and the inputs that are fundamental to making that person be effective. And as I think many of us understand, there's this theme of people where they sort of believe that you can just take Kim Kardashian's top 10 rules for success and just copy them and become the next Kim Kardashian, which I think, as many people who've tried that will know, doesn't work very well. Because the things that will make you successful, and granted, you're not going to become the next Kim Kardashian, most likely, right? And why would you want to? You're not Kim Kardashian. But the the point is that the things that will make you successful are not the things that made someone else successful, or even if it's in the same industry doing, you could say, similar sorts of things, like if you're somebody who wants to build the next operating system that will be used by all PCs, and you think, oh, look, that's what Bill Gates did. I'm going to go emulate his rules for success. And I'm not saying that reading them, learning about them, and getting some of his perspectives on things is a bad idea. I'm just saying that, you don't copy someone's haircut so you can make more money. So I think we have to be very careful about what ideas we pick up from other people because they're not always going to be useful for us. But the thing that I wanted to bring attention to here is this idea that if we gain insight into ourselves and if we really pay attention to our diet and our breakfast and our sleep and exercise, how we think and breathe and move, and whether you meditate or not, and there's so many things, but there's so many little things that you can dial and that you can do that can have a truly profound impact on your performance, on the quality of your life. So having said all that, what I would say, or I, what I would say that the purpose of this is, what my call to action is, or what I hope that you will think about is being quote unquote effective at work or at making money at the expense of everything else truly worth it to you? Is being rich at the expense of being happy really worth it? To me, it's completely not, and I don't think it's something worth aspiring for, because I think 99% of us will be unable to put in the work necessary to become this rich, intelligent, successful person without passion and without happiness and without being able to eat ice cream every once in a while. Without the sustainability piece, I think we really lose most of our chance at actually making this manifest itself in our life. I think that's really important. So I hope that you'll sort of think about that, and you'll think about trying to improve yourself on the whole by making yourself healthier and by gaining more insight on what makes you successful. So that way you can up your game and then just not have to struggle to do the things you know that you should do to be successful. Because if, and I think here's a great example, like if you're one of these people who goes, I need to read a book a day so I can be on my top game. Well, I can tell you from personal experience, if you don't have energy, if you feel drowsy, if you have a headache, if your joints hurt, if there's something else going on, if your relationship is bad, if you're distracted, it's going to become immensely harder for you. If you had a Pop-Tart for breakfast, is basically what I'm saying, and there's all these other things going on, to do that, right? So the idea is to make that choice, and it's not just a matter of choice, it's also a matter of whether or not you have the resources to make it happen. If you want to make that a reasonable activity, then I think it is kind of a basic requirement that you just set yourself up to make that as easy and as sustainable as possible. Because it's not a commitment that you do once a month, it's daily. And I think what's important here is that having this mode of trying to take care of yourself so you can be effective every day is not just a matter of reaching the horizon. It's a matter of truly making the life that you have at this moment more fulfilling and improving the quality of life and just making this moment to moment experience that much better for yourself and hopefully for the people around you. So that way you can have what you describe as a good or a great life. So anyway, I hope that there are some good take homes for you folks in there. I hope you found this valuable, and let me know how this experiment went. If you'd like more of these short form, just some quick thoughts on a topic that I think is important, because I do write a lot on stuff like this, and it's mostly sort of that I can learn and make sure that I'm remembering these principles that I'm trying to pretty much learn on a daily basis, and continue to grow and become more effective myself. So let me know if you did find this valuable. If you'd like to see more of this content, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. I'm not gonna sell this to you. I mean, you guys know how to do this at this point. But like the video, as you know, it helps me out. It helps more eyeballs, more ears, more brains get. Well, I suppose frankly, just more people get access to this. So that would be really awesome. But anyway, hope this was helpful, and thank you guys so much for listening. This is Orion Webster signing out. Have a good day.